We start with breaking news here on The Plus. Police searching for the gunman that killed a man yesterday over in East Nashville.
All right, let's check in with News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy. He's at the East Police Precinct. And Dan, it's fairly scary that this happened at a public park, a greenway area, Shelby Park, in fact.
Yeah, and in broad daylight, too. It happened about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Plenty of people outside walking their dog. There's some tennis courts right there. There is that dog park. There's a golf course. And, of course, that greenway that people use for biking, running, walking. And shots were fired at about 5 o'clock yesterday, and it ended up with one person being killed later that afternoon at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Here's a picture of that man we're talking about. His name is Mark Matlock. He died at Vanderbilt. His passenger, Angel Pendred, was taken to the hospital for injuries she got in a crash. Here's what happened. After he was shot, he got in his car to try and drive away for help. The two of them drove, only making it about 3 blocks before he crashed, as you see here, into that city bus. So what exactly happened at that park? Police say that Matlock and Pendred met another couple in the parking lot. The suspects got in the backseat of the victim's car. Something happened. There was an exchange of gunfire. We don't know who all pulled the trigger, but we do know there was gunfire. We do know that Matlock was shot multiple times. He and Pendred again sped away, hit that bus. She was taken to the hospital. She's going to be okay. Back here live at the East Precinct this morning, Pendred is cooperating with detectives. She's giving them her full story, we're told. And from that, they are now looking for a white female with pink hair. They're also looking for a black male. They say those two people probably know something about this and they want to talk to them. And if you have any information about this crime, 615-74-CRIME is the number for Crime Stoppers, and there is a reward. Reporting live this morning from East Nashville, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
Dan, thank you. And work continues right now to repair a power pole damaged in a crash in Madison. Officers say a teenager slammed into that pole on Gallatin Pike near Roosevelt Avenue. This was around 2 o'clock this morning. NES crews were able to reroute the power in the area so there were no outages. The teen was hurt but refused medical treatment at the scene. Work to replace the pole is going to last most of the morning, but the lanes have reopened. Steve?
Amy, several big topics in front of Metro Council members last night. Airbnb, some new regulations there. Decriminalizing small amounts of marijuana. Also body armor for Metro Police in Nashville. The big one, though, that packed the house last night was that one right there. Google Fiber, a lot of talk on this at council meeting. The problem is this. Google wants to use utility poles that already have AT&T and Comcast lines. Opponents argued to slow down and let the companies kind of work this out to avoid a lawsuit. Well, that hasn't happened yet. After much debate, the council voted in favor, basically clearing the way for the ordinance.
We're not a big digging market. You basically have to do most everything on the poles. So the pole policy became really important here, and this is to not just for Google, level 3 is on board, but for future attachers to move forward and be able to deploy quickly.
Interesting topic there. Another big hot topic last night. Police body armor and helmets. The council voting unanimously to spend more than $1 million on that new equipment. And by a voice vote, the council voted to advance Nashville's plan to decriminalize small amounts of marijuana. But we'll have to wait on the most controversial part of the Airbnb proposal that was talked about. Council will vote on how many people are allowed at Airbnb locations next month. So more on that to come. Amy?
All right, to Murfreesboro now, where a teacher who pleaded guilty to statutory rape has been arrested again for stalking. WGNS reports former Blackman High School teacher James Lancaster was charged in 2009 for a string of crimes, including solicitation of a minor and aggravated statutory rape. Under the original guilty plea, his record could be expunged if he didn't violate his probation. Lancaster will be in court later today. Police are looking for multiple suspects who broke into a Cheatham County home while a mom and son were inside. Happened just before 6 last night at a home on Bamman Mountain Road in Ashland City. The thieves were able to get away with 10 rifles, a crossbow, and $5,000 in cash. Detectives say the suspects got away in a charcoal Chevy 4-door truck. If you know anything about the crime, call the Cheatham County Sheriff's Office. Some new information this morning in the case against Rutherford County Sheriff. Hundreds of thousands of documents, recordings, and videos could be used as evidence in the case against Sheriff Robert Arnold. Arnold and 2 others are facing federal charges that could send them to jail for 95 years after allegedly playing a role in an e-cigarette company at the Rutherford County Jail. Now, according to one of the latest court filings in the government's case against Arnold's chief deputy, Joe Russell, the feds have started turning over its evidence for the defense to look over, including a spreadsheet with more than 300,000 entries of apparent documents, recordings, videos, and photographs. They also say in the filing that more than 80 people could be potential witnesses in the case. A court date has been set for February 7th of next year.
Well, police are still looking for one more suspect after several businesses were robbed Monday night. We first brought you this as breaking news yesterday morning. Authorities say 18-year-old Jermaine Southern admitted to his role in robbing 2 Daly's convenience stores overnight. He's one of the 2 armed men who robbed the gas stations. Again, they're still looking for the other guy. There were also robberies at a Holiday Inn Express and a Family Dollar, but Southern's not been charged yet in those cases. Police say the suspects also tried to rob a Sonic, but the doors were locked.